London, 1720. A banker in powdered wig and lace cuffs opens a tiny wooden cage, not to admire a jewel, not to sign a stock certificate, but to inspect a guinea pig. Around him, men are shouting prices, coins clinking, papers flying. They aren't trading gold or land, they're trading pets. And each squeak, each tiny twitch of a furry nose is worth a fortune. This wasn't fiction. It wasn't madness. It was business, at least for a while. Welcome to the Guinea Pig Bubble. In the early 18th century, London was alive with the hum of progress. The city's streets echoed with the creak of carriage wheels, the cries of merchants, and the constant chatter of ambition. It was an age of coffee houses, stock jobbers, and the birth of modern finance. Fortune, it seemed, was no longer the privilege of the landed elite. It was now something you could buy, sell, or lose in the flick of a quill. And in that feverish pursuit of wealth, a strange mania began to unfold, a craze so bizarre that even centuries later, historians still shake their heads in disbelief. This is the story of the Guinea Pig Bubble, one of history's most forgotten, yet oddly revealing episodes of human greed and imagination. No, it wasn't about pigs made of gold. It was about something even more absurd: real, living guinea pigs. Tiny creatures that would, for a brief and ridiculous moment, become symbols of speculation, vanity, and profit. Let's rewind to London, around the year 1720, the same time as the infamous South Sea Bubble, the great financial disaster that nearly brought Britain's economy to its knees. The air was thick with the scent of opportunity and deception. People were investing in anything that promised profit: ships, land, inventions, and even the most nonsensical ventures imaginable. You could find advertisements for companies to drain the Irish bogs, to extract silver from lead, and even to trade in human hair. In that climate of madness, the line between innovation and insanity vanished. And then somewhere in this chaos came an idea that would baffle logic: the breeding and selling of guinea pigs, as a speculative investment. At first it seemed harmless. Guinea pigs had recently been introduced to Europe from South America. They were exotic, adorable, and a mark of refinement among the wealthy. Aristocrats loved them, small, gentle creatures that could fit inside a gloved hand, nibbling politely on lettuce leaves. Owning one was a fashion statement, but as more people admired them, demand soared. Breeders began to multiply their stock, and soon, whispers began in the coffee houses of Exchange Alley, the same smoky rooms where stocks and futures were traded. Invest in guinea pigs, some would say. They breed quickly. You can double your investment every month. And that was all it took. Speculators, already high on dreams of easy money from the South Sea Company, turned their attention to this furry, squeaking new opportunity. Guinea pigs, once simple pets, became living assets. They were sold in batches, their litters projected like dividends, their future offspring estimated as compound interest. A single pair, it was claimed, could make you rich if you just waited for the right breeding cycle. In the beginning, prices rose fast. A pair that once sold for a few shillings now went for pounds. Advertisements promised buyers guaranteed profits, exclusive bloodlines, and noble breeds. The logic was seductive. After all, guinea pigs reproduced quickly. Surely that meant infinite returns. Soon, people who had never seen a guinea pig in their lives began buying shares in breeding operations. Londoners who had lost money in the South Sea debacle looked for redemption in these furry fortunes. The bubble grew. Cages filled drawing rooms. Merchants, widows, and even clergymen joined the frenzy. The more absurd it seemed, the more people convinced themselves it must be brilliant. Because in a world where tulips, shells, and even imaginary mines could make men rich, why not guinea pigs? For a few glorious weeks, it worked. Prices doubled, then tripled. Breeders couldn't keep up. Reports circulated that one gentleman had turned a single guinea pig pair into a fortune big enough to buy a townhouse. That was all the fuel the fire needed. But bubbles have a habit of bursting, and always for the same reason: reality. You see, guinea pigs don't just breed, they also eat, and they die. Soon, the practical side of the scheme began to reveal itself. Breeders had overestimated how quickly they could grow their stock, and underestimated how much it would cost to feed and house them. Thousands of buyers, expecting endless profits, found themselves with hundreds of hungry mouths to feed and no buyers left to sell to. The illusion of wealth vanished overnight. Prices collapsed. Those who had paid a fortune for their premium bloodline guinea pigs suddenly couldn't give them away. By winter, the streets of London were littered with unwanted animals. Some escaped into parks, others met sadder ends. the great guinea pig boom was over almost as quickly as it had begun. But behind the comedy of it all was something much darker, a glimpse into the human mind at its most desperate and imaginative, because this wasn't really about guinea pigs. It was about hope and the delusion that wealth could be created out of thin air. The guinea pig bubble became one of many absurd episodes during the financial hysteria of the 1720s. It joined a long line of speculative follies, from tulips to railways to dot-com startups, each one proving the same simple truth: when people believe they can't lose, they already have. The story faded into obscurity, buried under the grander tale of the South Sea bubble. Yet in the quiet corners of economic history, it remains a perfect little mirror, reflecting the madness of crowds and the blindness of greed. And there's a strange irony in it all. Those tiny squeaking creatures, innocent, helpless, oblivious, became symbols of human folly. People risked fortunes over them, lost everything, and then moved on, pretending it never happened. But history doesn't forget so easily. Even centuries later, economists studying speculative manias mention the guinea pig bubble, with a smirk, half amusement, half warning. Because though the details change, the pattern doesn't. One day it's tulips, another day it's tech stocks, then it's NFTs, or crypto, or whatever dream captures the imagination of the moment. And each time, we convince ourselves, this time is different, but it never is. Human beings have always chased profit faster than they chase understanding. We fall in love with the illusion of easy gain, and forget that behind every booming market is a simple, unchanging truth: nothing grows forever. The guinea pig bubble stands today as a tiny, squeaky monument to our greatest weakness and our greatest strength: our ability to believe, because belief moves markets, it builds empires, it destroys them too. And in that sense, perhaps those long-forgotten guinea pigs were never the fools of the story. They were the victims, quiet witnesses to another chapter in humanity's endless dance with greed and hope. You've been watching Wealth Untold, where history whispers lessons that the future forgets to hear. In the pursuit of fortune, sometimes the smallest things, a flower, a bubble, or even a guinea pig, can expose the biggest truths. Until next time, remember, in every craze, every mania, and every promise of easy riches, there's always someone left holding the cage.